everyone, Uncle Jesse here. It's my favorite time of the year, Halloween. That means we're gonna be doing another video on my 5 favorite last-minute 3D prints. But before that, let's take a word from today's video sponsor, which is none other than Anycubic. Anycubic's running a big sale through October 31st on a variety of their Resin 3D printers and FDM 3D printers. There are some crazy good deals that you can find over on Anycubic's website during this sales event. They also have 2 package deals running on some of their most popular 3D printers. This includes the Mega S package, which includes 1 kilogram of PLA plus 2 exclusive STLs and the printer for only $206. They also have the Photon Mono package, my favorite, which includes the Photon Mono Resin 3D printer, 1 kilogram of resin, and 2 exclusive STL files for only $200. That is a ridiculously good deal for a fantastic 3D printer. In today's video, I'm also exclusively printing with the Anycubic Viper FDM 3D printer, as well as the Anycubic Mono X, which are both included in this promo sale. If you're interested in more information on the sale that's going on Anycubic's website, you'll find links down below. And a huge thank you to Anycubic for sponsoring today's video. Now, my only requirement is that these files all need to be 3D printable within a 24-hour time frame, ideally even less than that. And I think most of these all printed within 12 hours. The first one that we're gonna be looking at is the Haunted Candle designed by Bugman and available to 3D print over on Prusa printers. This was printed on the Anycubic Viper in this gold silk PLA, and then I had this matte white filament here that I went off and printed with it, and I think it looks really good. I printed the candlestick hollow. He does have a version of this, like I printed this one here that has the opening in the bottom that I can insert a tea light into, and if I wanted to, he has another variation of the candlestick option that's completely hollow as well. So if I wanted to run an LED all the way up there, or just leave it hollow and have a little tea light, candle light in there and light up the actual candle. I think this is a really cool idea and able to obviously print here. 0 supports required as well, which is fantastic. And I think in total, it was about a 10-hour print on the Anycubic Viper at 0.2 millimeters. The next one here is one that I couldn't pass up. This is from my buddy Wekster over on his Patreon. This is actually his Carnage face mask. I printed this here on the Anycubic Mono X in this really bright green resin that fits my face perfectly. I needed to bring this back into my iPad into No Bad Sculpt and then shaping it to my face so that it was a perfect fit for my face, and it turned out amazing. Required, obviously, there's supports are going to be needed for this. I did end up hollowing it out as well, and I ended up clear coating it after I washed it and cured it in the Anycubic Wash and Cure Plus station. That thing is such a beast and a pleasure to have on hand because so many large 3D prints fit into that wash and cure station. It also has holes on the side, so if you want to install some elastic on there, you can actually wear it as a face mask. And again, make sure if you're printing this in resin and planning on wearing it to either prime it or apply some sort of spray paint or something over it, because you don't, even cured resin, you don't necessarily want directly against your skin. The next one you probably see here sitting on the end of the Viper bed and are wondering, what is that? It looks like some candy corn with legs, and it is. It's a little candy corn guy with some flexible legs. And in fact, this is the version that I printed. It's designed by cmdesign and available over on Prusa printers for you to download and 3D print. I believe it also supports multi-material printing. I just paused the printer and then swapped out the filament. So I went with this yellow ripcord yellow PLA, and then I used his orange PLA, and then I had that same white filament that I used for the candlestick that I used for the top of the candy corn. He's got a little face on here as well, and I clearly see I forgot to remove the supports on this guy within his mouth. But a nice little floppy design with his legs. It could potentially be a nice torture test as well. I printed this initially at 0.2 millimeters and the legs were just fused together. So then I ended up reprinting it at 0.16 millimeters, and it took, I think, about 9.5 hours to 3D print. Now for this next one, I was really excited about this. I ended up printing the next set of prints off of my very first Resin 3D printer. That's right, this is the Anycubic Photon, the original Photon. This is the very first one here that I still have on hand. It is a tank. It still prints extremely well. The prints that I got off of this machine are ridiculously nice looking. So happy to get this back up and running. I spent so much time printing with the Mono X that I kind of forgot about the original Photon here, and the prints looks stunning even on this machine that's like 2 or 3 years old now. And here are these two originally designed 3D files from 3D STL Studios, and they look amazing on the Photon. What I love about this as well is that he includes versions that are pre-supported, thank you, and not pre-supported. So if you wanted to try and print this on an FDM3 printer, you can do that. Or if you want to throw it down on a resin printer, you can just slap it down on the build plate and start printing like I did. I'm still honestly kind of shocked at how nice the details look off of that original Photon, even though it's a 3-year-old machine. It's not mono screen, but still looks amazing. I also used Anycubic's apricot resin, which I have not had the pleasure of using before, and it looks beautiful on these prints. And the last one here, which might end up being my absolute favorite one out of all of these, is this zombie card kit that you can run off in 3D print. This is the original size, and it's, you see here, it's just a little flat looking zombie with these little support pieces that are pre-attached to it, like you've seen on some model kits. And then here is one that is maxed out in size. Both of these printed on the Anycubic Viper. Both look great, but these are really fun and easy things to run off in 3D print, especially if you have kids, or if you want to print a whole bunch of these and give them out to kids as they're trick-or-treating. These take about anywhere between 40 minutes to an hour to print individually, again, depending on your settings that you're running with. This larger one here, I think was maybe 4 hours long to 3D print, so not bad for the huge one. If you print the zombie card kit, I would also recommend using a little bit of super glue on those, especially if you have kids that are planning on playing with it, or if you're an adult also wanting to play with one. All the files that I've listed here will have links down below in the description, so if you wanted to run off and 3D print these before Halloween, you should have more than enough time to print even a handful of these if you're watching this today. And again, thank you to Anycubic for sponsoring today's video. They have that massive sale going on where you can get some really good savings on some different 3D printers, which is for sure a treat and not a trick. Big thank you to all my Patreon supporters. Couldn't do this without your continued support. And let me know in the comments if there's anything that you've printed this holiday season that you think I should have considered being on this short and quick 3D print list. Let me know in the comments below, because I'm always up for printing some more cool things. Hey, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye now. And check out what just showed up while I'm editing the video here. This is the new Frozen Mono 6K. I'll be shooting a video on that machine here in the upcoming weeks, so stay tuned for that.